The land never forgets who owns it. And in the world of Yellowstone, power is not given, it is taken. Now the story is moving south, where the dust is hotter, the rules are harder. And the legend of one of the most powerful ranches in America is about to take center stage. The 6,666 ranch has always been more than just land. It is history, pride, and a place where only the toughest survive. And now, the Yellowstone universe is opening the gates to this legendary ranch for the very first time. The story of Yellowstone 6,666 begins far away from the mountains of Montana. Instead of snowy valleys and pine trees, this world lives under the wide, burning sky of Texas. The land stretches for miles in every direction, flat and endless, covered in dry grass that moves like waves when the wind passes through. This is the famous Four Sixes Ranch, one of the most historic and respected ranches in the entire country, for more than 100 years. This place has been known for raising the strongest horses and the toughest cowboys. Life here is simple, but it is never easy. Every day begins before the sun rises, and every man or woman who works here must prove that they belong. There are no shortcuts, no easy paths, and no room for weakness. And like many modern ranches that rely on machines and comfort, the 6,666 ranch still follows old traditions. Cowboys ride out at sunrise, checking miles of land, watching over cattle, and making sure nothing threatens the ranch. The work is physical, exhausting, and sometimes dangerous. But this way of life is exactly what makes the ranch special. The people who stay here are not just workers. They become part of something bigger. They protect a legacy that has been built by generations before them. Every fence, every horse, and every brand on the cattle carries a story from the past. But the world outside the ranch is changing fast. Cities continue to grow, corporations are always looking for land, and powerful investors see ranches like 6,666 as opportunities instead of traditions. The arrival of money and modern power creates tension that cannot be ignored. Some people want to protect the ranch exactly as it has always been, while others believe change is the only way to survive. This battle between tradition and progress begins to shape the future of the Four Sixes. At the center of this story are the cowboys who live and work on the ranch every single day. These men and women understand the land better than anyone else. They know the risks, the storms, the droughts, and the long nights when everything can go wrong. Loyalty matters more than anything here. When someone earns respect on this ranch, it means they have faced the same dust, the same heat, and the same struggles as everyone else. Trust is not given easily, but once it is earned, it becomes stronger than family. The connection to the Yellowstone world makes this story even more powerful. Fans already know that the Four Sixes Ranch has played an important role before, when Jimmy was sent away to Texas. It was not just a punishment, it was a test. The ranch was meant to break him down and rebuild him into a real cowboy. What he experienced there changed him forever. Now the doors of that ranch are opening wider, revealing the full world that exists behind those gates. The lessons Jimmy learned were only a small part of the larger story waiting to unfold. In this new chapter, the focus is not only about land ownership or family drama, it is about identity. The cowboys of the 6,666 ranch live by a code that has existed long before modern society tried to change the West. Hard work, loyalty, and respect for the land are the rules that guide every decision. Breaking those rules can have serious consequences, because here reputation means everything. Once someone loses the trust of the ranch, they may never earn it back again. As the series begins to take shape, the Four Sixes Ranch becomes more than just a location. It becomes the heart of a new story inside the Yellowstone universe, a story about survival, pride, and the fight to protect a way of life that refuses to disappear. The land is quiet, but beneath that silence lies pressure that is slowly building. And when that pressure finally explodes, the entire future of the ranch could change forever. Because in the world of Yellowstone, one truth always remains the same: the land is worth fighting for. And the Four Sixes Ranch may soon become the next battlefield where loyalty, power, and legacy collide. The 6,666 Ranch is not just another location in the Yellowstone universe. It stands for something older and stronger than most modern ranches. In America, this land carries deep history that shapes every person who steps onto it. While many people see a wide stretch of dry Texas ground, the people who live there see generations of hard work, sacrifice, and pride. The ranch has survived droughts, storms, market crashes, and changing governments. It has outlasted trends and fads because it is built on simple values that never go out of style. Hard work, discipline, and respect for the land are not just words here. They are rules that guide daily life. What makes the Four Sixes different from the Yellowstone Ranch? In Montana is the feeling of control. In Montana, the fight is often loud and public. Politicians, developers, and powerful families clash openly, but in Texas, power moves quietly. The 6,666 Ranch does not show off its strength. It does not need to. Its reputation speaks for itself. The ranch is known for producing some of the best horses and cattle in the country. Professional riders and serious ranchers respect the name Four Sixes because it stands for quality and toughness. Anyone who works here knows they are stepping into a place with standards that cannot be lowered. The environment itself changes the tone of the story. The Montana mountains feel cold and heavy, but Texas feels open and endless. The sky looks bigger. The sun feels closer. The heat is not just uncomfortable. It is a test. Long days under that sun push people to their limits. There is no hiding from the weather, and there is no easy comfort waiting at the end of the day. The land demands strength from everyone who depends on it. If you are not ready for that challenge, the ranch will make it clear very quickly. This setting creates a new kind of drama. Instead of constant political games, the tension grows from the pressure of survival and reputation. On this ranch, your word means everything. If you promise to handle a task, you must complete it. If you say you will stand by someone, you must stand firm even when trouble comes. Breaking trust here is worse than losing money. It damages your name, and a damaged name is hard to fix in cowboy culture. That quiet pressure adds depth to every relationship. The Four Sixes Ranch also represents the purest version of the cowboy lifestyle. It is not about big speeches or dramatic fights in boardrooms. It is about waking up before sunrise, riding out into the fields, checking cattle, fixing fences, and handling problems without complaining. This daily routine may look simple from the outside, but it builds strong character. The people who survive here are not perfect heroes. They are flawed, stubborn, and sometimes rough, but they believe in earning their place instead of demanding it. There is also an important contrast between old traditions and modern business. Even though the ranch holds onto its values, it still exists in a world that runs on money and influence. Investors and large companies see ranch land as profit. They look at the Four Sixes and see numbers. But the people who live there see family history and pride. This difference in perspective can lead to serious conflict when business interests try to step into a place built on tradition. Sparks are bound to fly. The real question becomes whether the ranch can protect its identity without becoming too rigid to survive. The 6,666 Ranch also changes the emotional tone of the Yellowstone universe. In Montana, the focus often stays on one powerful family. In Texas, the spotlight spreads wider. The ranch feels like a community built on shared effort. Every cowboy, every ranch hand, and every manager plays a part in keeping the operation running. This makes the story feel larger and more grounded. The drama does not only come from family loyalty but from shared responsibility. By moving the story to Texas, the series expands its world without losing its roots. The Four Sixes Ranch becomes a symbol of what the West used to be and what it might become in the future. It stands at a crossroads between tradition and change, The land remains steady, but the people who fight to protect it must decide how far they are willing to go. In this setting, every decision carries weight, and every mistake leaves a mark that cannot be easily erased. The heart of Yellowstone 6666 is not just the land, it is the people who walk it, ride it, and fight for it every day. Unlike Montana, where the Detton's drama often revolves around family legacy and external threats, the Four Sixes Ranch introduces a whole new set of characters whose lives are shaped by the unrelenting Texas landscape. These are men and women, forged in dust, sweat, and long nights under the stars. Each has a story of survival, pride, and personal ambition. And their relationships with one another form the invisible threads that hold the ranch together. Here, loyalty is currency, and respect is earned in the saddle, not in a boardroom. Every newcomer must prove themselves not just to the land, but to the people who call it home. Returning faces from the Yellowstone universe bring a sense of continuity. But they are only part of the larger story. Jimmy's time in Texas was just a taste of what life on the Four Sixes can demand. But now the full ranch and its many residents are coming into focus. Viewers may recognize hints of familiar characters, but the spotlight shifts to a broader cast whose goals, secrets, and personal codes define the drama. The stakes are not just land or money, they are identity, pride, and the struggle to survive in a place where failure is visible to all and rarely forgiven. Every glance, every choice, and every act of bravery or betrayal is magnified by the wide-open spaces that leave no hiding place for weakness. New faces also bring fresh conflicts. Ranch managers, veteran cowboys, and ambitious newcomers all carry their own motivations. Some are hardened buyers of ranch life, their loyalty to the land as unbreakable as the fences that divide pastures. Others are outsiders with skills, ambition, or cunning that challenge the status quo. The ranch operates like a small kingdom, and power is never static. Alliances shift depending on who proves themselves capable, who makes mistakes, and who can manipulate the fragile balance of trust. The struggle for authority is subtle yet constant. In Texas, respect and reputation can open doors or close them forever. Beyond interpersonal drama, the series introduces conflicts that grow naturally from the environment itself. The harsh Texas climate, unpredictable storms, and relentless work cycles create pressure that can test even the most experienced ranch hands. Daily life is a contest of endurance. Every sunrise brings new challenges. From checking cattle across vast pastures to facing wildlife, mechanical failures, or human mistakes. When the heat is relentless and the land refuses to give an easy living, tensions rise. Decisions made in these high-pressure moments reveal character and often define alliances. Mistakes are not easily forgiven because every error risks the stability of the ranch and everyone depending on it. The interplay of old and new shapes the drama further. Veteran cowboys carry decades of knowledge about the land, horses, and cattle, often clashing with younger, more modern-minded ranch hands who question traditional methods. These conflicts are not just philosophical, they carry real consequences. A fence improperly maintained, a horse mishandled, or cattle left unchecked can spark arguments that ripple across the ranch. Yet these tensions also drive growth, forcing characters to adapt, compromise, or prove their mettle. The struggle between tradition and innovation becomes a recurring theme, reflecting both personal and professional challenges. Political and corporate pressures add another layer. Texas is a land of opportunity, but also a land where corporations see the ranch as an asset, not a home. Negotiations, threats, and subtle manipulations come from outside the ranch, testing the unity of those within it. Some characters may welcome outside influence as a path to wealth or survival, while others see it as a threat to the soul of the Four Sixes. These external pressures heighten internal conflicts, creating moments of tension that can explode into action or betrayal at any time. Ultimately, Section 3 focuses on the human element of Yellowstone 6666. While the land is vast, beautiful, and formidable, It is the people, their ambitions, secrets, loyalties, and rivalries that drive the story. Each character becomes a lens through which viewers experience the ranch, its traditions, its harsh realities, and its unyielding demands. This section emphasizes that survival at the Four Sixes is not just about skill or strength. It is about understanding the delicate balance of relationships, respecting the land, and knowing when to push forward or step back. Every glance, word, and action carries weight, because in this world, nothing happens in isolation. The Texas setting amplifies the drama by making space itself a character. Wide open plains allow tension to build quietly, with every movement observed and every mistake witnessed. Unlike the dense mountains of Montana, the openness of the ranch means that every conflict is exposed, every secret is at risk, and every decision resonates further. In Yellowstone 6666, the stakes are both personal and communal, creating a story that is intimate in its character focus yet epic in its scale. The result is a rich, layered narrative where each character's choices ripple across the ranch and beyond. Every newcomer must learn quickly, every veteran must defend their experience, and every connection, whether friendship, rivalry, or romance, has consequences through these dynamics. The series promises a mix of suspense, action, and deeply human storytelling, where survival is measured not just in outcomes, but in courage, loyalty, and the will to endure. The Four Sixes Ranch is a world where the land itself shapes the people who live on it. And with that comes a host of challenges that go beyond hard work and long days. Section 4 dives deeper into the new characters and the conflicts that define Yellowstone 6666, exploring the power struggles, rivalries, and personal ambitions that fuel the drama. Unlike Montana, where the Dettons' influence dominated, Texas introduces a broader network of relationships, each with its own rules and consequences. New arrivals on the ranch are not simply workers, they are agents of change, each carrying skills, motives, and secrets that can shift the balance of power at any moment. The introduction of these characters is not accidental. It sets up the tension between tradition and innovation, between loyalty and ambition, and between survival and pride. Some of the new characters are deeply connected to the ranch's history. Managers and longtime ranch hands have lived through decades of challenges and storms, and their authority is grounded in experience and respect. They are the keepers of old-school cowboy knowledge, the ones who teach newcomers the unspoken rules of life at 6666. Their approach is methodical, precise, and uncompromising. Mistakes are not just errors, they are tests of character. They evaluate every rider's ability, judgment, and respect for the land, and their verdict often decides a person's fate within the ranch hierarchy. These veterans create a stable backbone for the ranch. But their rigidity also creates tension, with younger or more modern-minded arrivals who question old ways and push for change. Then there are the newcomers, outsiders sent to the ranch for reasons ranging from redemption to opportunity. Some arrive with a strong desire to prove themselves. Others are driven by necessity or ambition. They bring fresh energy, but also unpredictability. Their skills may be unmatched, but their understanding of the ranch's culture is limited. This disconnect leads to clashes that are personal as much as professional. Trust must be earned, and alliances are fragile. One wrong move, one broken promise, and a newcomer can find themselves isolated, forced to navigate the ranch's complex social hierarchy without support. These dynamics create natural tension, making every scene feel alive with potential conflict. Power struggles also extend beyond the personal to the political and economic. While the ranch is a world apart, it exists within a larger Texas ecosystem where corporate interests, land developers, and wealthy outsiders constantly test its boundaries. Rival ranches, local politicians, and opportunistic investors see the Four Sixes as both a jewel and a target. These outside pressures create situations where the characters must defend the ranch not only physically but strategically. Negotiations, threats, and alliances with outsiders become necessary for survival, and not all characters agree on the right path forward. Some may see compromise as a survival tactic, while others view it as a betrayal of the ranch's core values. Internal rivalries also play a central role. Cowboys and ranch hands compete for status, respect, and influence. Friendships can turn into feuds, and alliances can crumble under pressure. This tension is intensified by the isolation and harsh conditions of the ranch itself. Long days under the relentless Texas sun, unpredictable weather, and demanding work push everyone to their limits. Exhaustion, pride, and stubbornness combine to make every interaction charged with emotion. Even small disagreements can escalate, reflecting the high stakes of life at 6,666. Romantic tensions and personal relationships add another layer to the drama. Bonds formed on the ranch are deep and often complicated. Loyalties are tested when love, jealousy, or ambition intersect with professional duties. These relationships are not mere subplots. They influence decisions, fuel rivalries, and sometimes even threaten the stability of the ranch. In Yellowstone 6666, personal stakes and professional stakes are intertwined, making every choice consequential. The environment itself remains a silent but powerful player. Wide open plains, dry rivers, thunderstorms, and endless sun create a constant sense of challenge. The land does not forgive mistakes. A lost cow, a mismanaged fence, or a rider unprepared for a storm can create consequences that ripple through the ranch's ecosystem. Characters must constantly adapt, proving their skill and determination while respecting the traditions that sustain the ranch. The setting amplifies the human drama, making every conflict, decision, and triumph feel earned and deeply rooted in reality. By combining experienced ranch hands, ambitious newcomers, and external threats, Section 4 highlights the complexity of life at the 4-6's ranch. Every character's ambition, loyalty, and strategy are tested, creating a dynamic web of relationships and conflicts that drive the story forward. The stakes are immediate, personal, and communal. Each decision has weight, and every action can tip the balance of power in unexpected ways. Yellowstone 6666 is not just about land, it is about survival, identity, and the fight to protect a way of life that refuses to be compromised.